Karen neighbor keeps calling the police and fire department over fire pit smoke nuisance, posted by Athena Doss M. Now this was posted in the legal advice subreddit, but this reading is not legal advice, but it's just some crazy Karens. Here we go. We have lived in our Texas home since 2016 and we own it. It's always been our understanding that recreational outdoor burning is allowed within our city. I checked the city code and there is no HOA, and we have had a fire pit in the same location since shortly after we moved. Our outdoor fire pit sits next to our pool and meets city code requirements, like we have a certificate from the fire department, for instance, and it's located approximately 25 to 30 feet from my next door neighbor's windows. Ever since we moved to our home, we have attempted to maintain a good relationship with all our neighbors and believe that we have gone above and beyond in trying to be friendly with our next door neighbors. Enter Karen, which we used to have over for drinks by the fire, game night, and so on, maybe every other month for about the first 5 years. However, the police and fire department has been dispatched to our home 3 times within the past 5 weeks at the request of Karen. Even my 4 kids had to experience this because of what they are calling a smoke nuisance complaint inside her house. She says the inside of her house has a strong smell of smoke that she can't sleep because of it, although we know she's a night owl. And she even claimed once that her kid had a cough the next day, but they run an illegal dog adoption agency out of her house, and there are normally 8 to 15 dogs in her house, making me think it could all be just a pet dandruff. Either way, each time the police and fire department came, we were asked to shut it down, and we complied. I tried reasoning with Karen and offered to plant a second tree barrier when we already have pear trees that block her house but go bare in the winter, but she declined. Her only solution is for us to move the pit. After the 3rd time this happened, I went down to the police and fire department to request in writing that they stop taking her work as factual and truly investigate inside her home regarding this smoke nuisance. Lo and behold, the 4th time she called the PD, the police officer dispatched went inside her house, and he stated there wasn't even a faint smell of smoke inside of her house, so he indicated there was no nuisance. To be clear, nothing has changed with the fire pit. What has changed is the fact that we no longer pet sit for them multiple times a year or invite them over for drinks by the fire, same which they used to enjoy and had no smoke nuisance complaint about due to their constant attempt to control what we do with our fence upgrades, pool upgrades, and exterior paint, and in our house, their needy friendship, and the incessant special request. I have text with proof for all of these. It is our true belief that the main reason they are now complaining of smoke nuisance is the fact that we still invite 1 or 2 other neighboring couples to come to drink by the fire at our house about once or twice a month, and they are not being included. Otherwise, we cannot explain why Karen, during the course of 2016 through 2021, never complained about the smoke until after they stopped being invited. We are not the only neighbors that Karen has called the city on. There is an ongoing history of them not getting along with their neighbors, and it seems like their go-to plan of action mostly consists of placing complaints with the city to make their surrounding neighbors comply with their stupid request, and other neighbors can corroborate. With this said, we find their use of emergency calls to 911, false reporting on our legal fire pit, misuse of city resources, and believe they are using the police and the fire department as a form of harassment against us to scare and annoy us for no valid reason. We Googled the Texas Supreme Court findings on what constitutes a nuisance, and it says, a condition that substantially interferes with the use and enjoyment of land by causing unreasonable discomfort or annoyance to persons of ordinary sensibilities attempting to use and enjoy it. And keep in mind, Karen is claiming that our smoke is a nuisance inside their home, not outside. I know that she will continue calling the PD and fire department on us from here on out, and we would like a second opinion on placing a harassment complaint or how we can make her stop calling the PD and fire department each time we have a fire. An update in the comments, one person suggests if the smoke bothers her and causes her unreasonable discomfort or annoyance, you can't stop her from reporting it. That isn't harassment. OP says, it is when she keeps calling the PD and fire department on us because she is no longer being invited without a real reason. The proof is in the last police officer not being able to smell any smoke inside her house. For it to be a nuisance, doesn't she have to prove it substantially interferes and creates unreasonable discomfort? The police officer had an ordinary sense of smell and could not detect any smoke smell inside her house. Now, this was the first time that they went in to investigate if her claim was factual. I thought it was insufficient for her to claim private nuisance without her proving how it's impacting her. Now, everywhere that I've lived, the rules are you do not put in fake calls on the police or the fire. This is not like a legal advice thing. This is a, hey, don't do this. You can get in a lot of trouble for this. I mean, think about where you live. If you were to call 911 or whatever you like, or if you call the fire department and say there's a problem, if they are using their resources and workers to come out and check you and nothing is wrong, you can get in major trouble for that, I thought. But hey, I could be wrong, maybe it's just the areas I live, but in all my life, I've always learned, even as a kid growing up years and years ago, you do not do this stuff unless there's an actual emergency. That's the way I was raised, at least. And my parents and I weren't lawyers to try to figure this out either. What do you think? I got fined by an HOA that I'm not even part of. Posted by PM Georgia O'Keefe. My mother-in-law is the president of her condo owners association. Back in January, she ended up in the hospital for emergency surgery and was in the ICU for a few weeks recovering, and she's fine now. During this period, there was going to be some work done to a few of the units, and the maintenance guy needed the keys from the association. They were all in my mother-in-law's condo. It happened to be on the way home from work, so I said that I would get them the keys. While I'm there, I discover that the tumbler in her doorknob completely comes out of the knob, generally ruining the point of having a lock. I hit the hardware store down the street, get a new lock set, swap it out, and call it a day. On the next hospital visit, I give her the keys and the extra copies that I'd made. Good, great, and grand. The next week, I'm stopping by her condo to get mail and water plants. The maintenance guy sees I'm there and brings back the association keys to put back in mother-in-law's safe. He commented that he tried to do it earlier, but her key didn't work. I explained the situation. He's a nice guy, nods his head, but gave me a heads up that he had told the VP of the board about it and said that I should call him. I do. The guy explains that it is association policy that the association always has a copy of the key for the units in case of emergency and so on. I listen, I explain, and say that mother-in-law, the president, has all the copies, so technically the association does have a copy. Plus, it's an extenuating circumstance. VP is having none of it. I'm there a few days later to do mail and plants again when the maintenance guy knocks on the door. He's the messenger, but needs to issue me a fine. $75. I thought it was a joke, but he hands over a letter saying that since I changed the lock set, I'm at fault. I took the letter, which asked for my official mailing address and social security number for their records in case of default on payment. It all ended up getting resolved, and because mother-in-law was already in a world of crap following surgery, I didn't make a stink of it. But the frickin' balls on the VP when he got a second of power. Updates and more info from OP. Tiger USF asked in the comments, I'm 99% sure they could never fine you. It'd be her, the owner. Ultra petty though. And OP replies, oh, I'm 100% sure. I threw out the letter. Apparently, they use a PM company that handles all the fines, so not sure where this VP got the idea of doing this. Maybe because I didn't grovel at their feet? Mother-in-law was ticked when she learned of it after getting discharged. Lufa of Doom asked OP, I'd make them famous. Tell the local news station they love this type of crap from the populace. Put the VP's name out there. If he's going to be petty, make him famous and petty. And OP replies, like I said, my mother-in-law is president of the association and just got back from emergency surgery. I didn't want to screw up her world. Crimson 7 asked OP, if she really was ticked, she screwed up his world something special, as she should have. As OP replies, sadly, no, kind old lady. And Six Bubbles says, kind does not equal doormat. I mean, do they not know who they were working with here? You had your reasons and your actions that you did what you did. You said, hey, we got all the keys already technically because she has this much power in it. And then to try and say they would be able to find you is sketchy because they should not be able to take you down for something like that. OP, you stood your ground. You did your job very well. Way to go. No, Karen, I won't wash your car. Posted by Potential Drive 8623. This happened 3 days ago, and I still don't know what Karen was thinking, but working in retail for close to 20 years, I'm not shocked. So we have me as the OP, we have Karen, the neighbor guy, and then the guy who owns the lodge. Okay, so the setting, it's a hot and sunny Thursday afternoon, and I wrapped up work since I work very early mornings on Thursdays, and I get the afternoon off. I decided to wash my car since it got covered in dust from gravel roads, and being surrounded by lakes, the front gets covered in bugs. Gross, I know. So I break out my equipment power washer, foam blaster, buckets, new car soap, speaker to listen to music, and a little cooler with refreshments. I just finished spraying my car to spray soap on to clean when my neighbor, who was also washing his Escalade, waved me over. Neighbor says, hey OP, can I ask you for some help? I say, yeah, sure, what's up? Hey, can you blast that dirt off of the bottom for me? The missus took the car out and somehow this happened. I took a quick look. It's got some mud, pretty good caked on, but not impossible to get off. Yeah, sure, I say, this will just take just a couple minutes or so. So I brought my pressure washer over, turned it on, and started spraying the dirt off while rocking out to Nickelback. Only took about 3, maybe 4 minutes, and I got it off. Neighbor says, hey, those things work great cleaning. I need to invest in one. Thanks, OP. I say, sure thing, neighbor. Happy to help. So I wrapped up and resumed my car washing while enjoying Nickelback's album Dark Horse when a dirty Lincoln stops behind my car and the lady is waving me over. Now I should explain that I live at the end of the road and we don't have anything people would drive to unless you're visiting someone, and the main road is close to 8 blocks away. So yeah, not many cars drive by my house. Anyway, I walk up to the lady's car to see what she wants. Maybe she's lost or she can't find someone's house. Nope, I was wrong. Here's the conversation. I say, yes, can I help you, ma'am? And she says, yes, since you just finished, can you wash my car? Also, I'd like the seats and carpets cleaned as well. I'm confused for a minute and I reply, wait, what? Didn't you hear what I said? I'd like my car cleaned. I just got this and it's already got dirt and bugs on it. Sorry, but no, I'm not going to. But there is a couple of car washes down the main street and I think the shops offer it too. Karen, who clearly never was told no, looks at me and goes, why would I do that? You have everything to do it here. Just do it. You wash that guy's car. Now do the same for me and make sure to use wax as well. I reply, no, I didn't wash his car. I just quickly helped him to get the dirt off. I'm only washing my car. What did you say? Fine. How much for a wash? She replies. What? What? Can't you hear? I said, how much? Lady, I don't know who you are, and frankly, I don't care. I'm only washing my car. If you need your car washed, go downtown. What now? Honestly, what is wrong with you kids today? You don't want to work and get money. This is ridiculous. She did go into a little tirade that I won't go into, but then she gassed it down towards Main Street. I look at my neighbor. We both shook our heads and resumed what we were doing. About 3 hours later, I was busy playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 when someone rang my doorbell. I stopped playing and I went to go see who it was, and I opened the door and I see a guy standing there. He says, "Hi, I'm the guy who owns the lodge. Did a lady ask you if you can wash her car?" I reply, "Yeah, some lady did, and she acted kind of like a toddler when I told her no. Why?" He says, That lady was complaining that the guy over there was rude and didn't want to help her. If you see her, just ignore her. I'm not going to let them stay here anymore. The husband is nice, but she's a piece of work. So I reply, okay, sure, but just out of curiosity, there's a lodge over there? The other guy laughs and says, yeah, we only do it over the summer and about 3 weeks during the winter. So in one day, I learned that Karens can come at you anywhere and anytime, and I live about 2 blocks away from a lodge. A very interesting day. So funny update here, a commenter says, you had a chance to go, how much? $10? No, $10,000. No refunds or reclamations payable in advance. And OP says, I should have, but after working 10 hours, I wasn't thinking, but if it happens again, I will. Now, the funny, interesting part about this is that the Karen assumed that OP was running a car wash over here, apparently, and then just ran up to him and like, hey, wash my car, thinking that he would be like, I can't say no. Yeah, sure, I'll do it too. But the fact of the matter is, you ran into somebody who can say no and who is not putting up with your crap, and therefore you just got turned down, Karen. OP, way to go sticking your ground. That is what you need to do in this situation to come out on top. What do you think? HOA forces me to join, so I lawyer up and ruin them by doing this with updates. Click the video on your screen so you get the full story. You don't want to miss this fallout, and I will see you there.